Well, he wants to take the land for the state. That's his first
Now,
word.
how is that possible? That these people could lose their home and then lose their land?
It is the number one concern of people there in Lahaina.
People are losing their land now? What? Today, we are going to be reacting to and commenting on the Joe Rogan podcast with Tulsi Gabbard on the response to the Maui Wildfires. 10-minute video. I won't watch the whole thing on this video. You can check it out for yourself. My dad was telling me about the Maui Wildfires, and I haven't really heard a lot about it because I'm not constantly on social media. But apparently it's a big thing, so let's check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Tulsi can speak to that better than anybody.
This has been one of the big failures around the aftermath of the wildfire. People were left without any kind of communication from anyone in a position of authority to provide help for days and weeks. And it created massive problems. And so the immediate line of response needed to come from the county and from the mayor and from their emergency response director. And unfortunately, they did not communicate. They're still not communicating. There's still a huge lack of transparency and therefore an increasing level of distrust in any of the levels of government that should be bending over backward to answer questions and to say, hey, here's what's going on every single day. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we're having a hard time doing, whatever the case may be.
So what it sounds like Tulsi Gabbard is talking about right now is that after the wildfires, people are in need of help, obviously, but no government officials or anyone like that is reaching out or answering questions or anything, like she just said. A little bit suspicious, not gonna lie. The government is supposed to help us, right? They're supposed to help us, but they don't. They're just leaving these people to die.
Beginning.
Do you think that this is a complete lack, because of a complete lack of preparedness, that this is an unprecedented type of disaster? It never happened before. It happens and they just weren't prepared. They don't know what to do. And it's incompetence.
I think that is very true. Maui has experienced drought year after year after year. Brush fires are a common occurrence, especially on the west side of Maui, where Lahaina is, the side of the island that was most impacted by this. Being prepared for wildfires on Maui is something that if you look at their, emergency assessment documents, it's mentioned almost as a bit of an afterthought. Maui Fire has been vastly undermanned and under-resourced for quite some time. The county officials, yes, they were completely overwhelmed and unprepared for this unprecedented wildfire. It's the worst wildfire our country has seen in over 100 years.
And honestly, I kind of have a feeling that it wasn't by accident. Why is it the worst that they've seen? I mean, do you guys think it was a natural wildfire or it was caused by someone on purpose? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think.
But the surrounding communities of people who survived but who went without power, who went without any cell phone signal, any ability to communicate with people, who didn't have, all of the gas stations in their neighborhood, they were empty. There was no way to get gas. They couldn't get food. They couldn't get clean water. The water supply systems were contaminated. I mean, there was disaster upon disaster that came in the aftermath of the fire that went unaddressed. And had a lot of friends there and went out to those affected communities. And what I heard over and over again was no one from the county, the state, or the federal government has shown their face in our community. It is neighbors helping neighbors, families helping families. People on the island of Molokai, which they don't have much on their island. Everything comes in by barge. They're loading up whatever they have in their general store on these little boats and running them over to West Maui on a private boat dock because that was the only place that they wouldn't be blocked from bringing food and water and medical supplies.
From what it sounds like, the government does not care at all about this little island. I mean, Maui isn't a little island either. Like, geez, they're just leaving them to die. They should be coming in with their helicopters, their boats, and they should be coming in by the masses and helping them out.
Now, why are people being blocked? I keep hearing that about people being blocked. Is it because they haven't gotten an accurate death count? Is it because they have to make an assessment of how much was damaged and it's so massive, it's so vast that they haven't been able to do that yet? Like, why is it being blocked?
Things are being opened up now. In the couple of weeks after the fire, I don't have a good answer why they continue to block the roads, again, to those surrounding communities, why they blocked people like Kai Lenny and others from using their jet skis and boats to try to bring supplies in.
What the heck? They're blocking people now from even transporting? What? No, duh. Because they're obviously trying to increasing fear and panic and everything. I mean, if something like this is going to happen, it seems like they're just not going to do anything about it anymore.
You could say, well, we were trying to secure the area, but you're blocking.
Secure the area from what? The fires that people already were in and are dying in there? Like, you need to go in and save people and help people out. And like, you can't just block it, man.
Friends and family from coming in and bringing necessary supplies, literally doing supply runs. So, you know, I jumped on a plane that was doing supply runs from Kahului, the main airport on Maui, out to this tiny little airport that serves that community. And that was, for a lot of days, the only way that they could get supplies brought in. But again, this goes back to, why aren't you communicating to people what's going on and why you're doing what you're doing? All the result of their decisions left people and families and communities stranded in their most dire time of need. And the mayor didn't go out and show his face until almost 2 weeks after the fire happened.
That's insane.
It's crazy. But he said in a press conference, he said, we're talking to the attorney general. He said, I'm talking to my attorney general to explore options for the state to take over that land and use it to build workforce housing or build a memorial to the for the people who lost their lives. Yeah. But the fears that the people in Lahaina have, some of whom, like Archie Kalepa, famous surfer, community leader, Native Hawaiian leaders, family has lived in Lahaina for 9 generations, now being told, well, the state, the governor is looking at taking that land, taking ownership of that land, that it is unconscionable.
And you know what? Because my parents were actually talking about this, and honestly probably are doing that to make these smart cities that my parents have been talking about, where they can track everything. Everything is tracked. Everything is photographed. You know, there's cameras absolutely everywhere. You're not free. You know, they're making these experimental smart cities, and there's all these wildfires, so they want to burn down these cities or burn down these forests so they can make these smart cities.
So, you know, we'll you know, for those who've been displaced, we'll see about doing a land swap and we'll send you to the Big Island to live in Puna.
Jesus.
It's taking away the sovereignty of people's rights to have a say over their home, in many cases their generational lands, it is such an abuse of power. And so this is, and I'm glad that there are leaders in the community who are leaning into this fight to make sure that they are fighting this fight before anybody tries to do that.
The constant push for government control lately, like she said, it's, you know, there's such an abuse of power, and it's not only here, you know, it's all across America too. They're just slowly, you know, inching more and more, like, oh, maybe I can do this, and maybe I can do this, I can get away with this, right? And no one will say anything because they're leaders, they're in the government, so people think that it's all right. We're smarter than this, and we gotta fight back.
But just imagine a governor going on television after a massive tragedy where we don't even know the number of people dead yet. You have this massive area that's been burnt to the ground. Yeah. And then he starts talking about taking it over for the state. That's an insane position to take.
It is.
You've just lost, you know, all this land and your home and so many family members, and all of a sudden,
oh, so yeah, we're taking over the land for the state, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry we couldn't help 2 weeks earlier when the fire was actually burning your house to the ground, but you know, hope you can forgive us for that, and have a great day. This is your governor.
Post-tragedy, when people are suffering at their most, they can't even believe it happened. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he's saying, we're going to take it for the state and make a memorial? How about give the people their homes back? We were looking at the amount of money that was accidentally sent to Ukraine. Like they oversent $6 billion. And then I said, well, how much would it cost to rebuild every house in the Maui fire? And it's $5 billion, $5 billion something. Yeah. Like That's just like accidental money.
Like, why would you give all that money to Ukraine? Ukraine is already such a corrupt, it's so bad. I'm not showing any hate to the Ukrainians. I'm Polish myself. Just Maui kind of needs that money more right now. And they just accidentally oversent $8 billion to Ukraine.
There's no talk of doing that. There's no talk of doing that. Isn't that interesting?
The way, and it's happened 2 or 3 times now where the Pentagon has said, "Oh, we miscalculated how much money we had set aside for Ukraine, so we have an extra $4 billion to send now that we didn't know we had." And this has happened a few times. Secretary of State Tony Blinken went to Kiev yesterday, promising, "Hey, we're going to give you another $1 billion now." And this is the thing: when I was out there in Maui, person after person was like, "Tulsi, tell me what would happen if we started to call ourselves Ukraine. You think they would give us some money then to take care of our families, to fix our roofs, that have been torn up by the hurricane winds that came through, to make sure we have clean water to drink? You think they might pay attention to us then?" And then FEMA comes out, the FEMA director comes out and does this press conference. Somebody said, "Well, what are you doing for Maui?" She's like, "Oh, we're giving a one-time $700 payment to everybody who's been impacted by the wildfire."
But that's like nothing. Like, you can go through that. I don't even think you can get a new roof with $700. What?
It's insane.
Hawaii has the highest cost of living in the entire country. The entire country. And how freaking insulting is it to have the lead disaster response administrator from the Biden administration stand there and proudly say, "Hey, we're giving everybody one $700 payment."
It's insane. And it's insane especially because of how much money we're sending to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because there can be no doubt that these things are financially motivated now.
That's really sad. The entire episode is for free on Spotify. I will link this video again in the description below and in the banner in the corner of the screen. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me comment on this podcast. Man, pray for Maui because they need it. Ukraine does not need it. They have gotten billions and billions and billions of dollars. I need gas, bro. We need to get Biden out of office and everyone freaking in whatever government, because they keep freaking sending money to the wrong places. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to leave me a big thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment if you liked this video and you want to see more. I hope to see you in the next video of mine. I love you. Bye.